Taibbi here with us, part of our coverage. What have you been able to learn?
Brian, we spent a lot of it today at the apartment complex where he lives, and until last month, he was just a quiet grad student living a few blocks from the University of Colorado campus. Then he quit school, no reason given, and then he ended up, a few days later, allegedly buying the last of the 4 guns found at the scene of the massacre. The few people who had any contact with James Egan Holmes in his Aurora neighborhood describe him as not just quiet, but as a recluse who lived with the shades drawn, and who, when he did meet someone, revealed little.
He kept to himself, didn't like a lot of attention.
We had never heard anything abnormal until midnight this morning, when we heard loud techno music playing.
In the theater, during the rampage, witnesses said the suspect had no message at all.
He didn't say a word, not a word.
But he was dressed in full battle gear.
He was wearing a ballistic helmet, a tactical ballistic vest, ballistic leggings, a throat protector and a groin protector, and a gas mask, and black tactical gloves.
Clearly looks like a deranged individual. He had his hair painted red. He said he was the Joker, obviously the, quote, enemy of Batman.
Growing up in San Diego, there'd been no sign of future trouble. Holmes played soccer and went to neighborhood birthday parties.
This was this nice kid, grew up in a nice neighborhood.
Then a Bachelor of Science degree in neuroscience from the University of California at Riverside.
He was an honor student, so academically he was at the top of the top.
Before moving to Colorado last year to study the biological basis of psychiatric and neurological disorders at UC's Anschutz Medical Campus. But he quit last month. And in recent months, he'd purchased 4 weapons exactly like these, the last bought 2 weeks ago. After the shootings, he warned police the mayhem might not be over.
And our investigation determined that his apartment is booby-trapped with various incendiary and chemical devices and apparent tripwires. So we have an active and difficult scene.
While the police worked deliberately in their approach to Holmes's apartment, that building and 4 others evacuated, the Holmes family in San Diego issued a statement saying, "Our hearts go out to those who were involved in this tragedy. We are still trying to process this information, and we appreciate that people will respect our privacy." Holmes has reportedly retained a lawyer and is also reportedly not cooperating with the police right now. Before this, his only brush with the criminal justice system was for a speeding ticket last year.
We'll no doubt be learning a lot more as the hours go by. Mike Taibbi on the suspect in this case. And now about the victims. NBC's Kristen Dahlgren has more on this staggering loss.
She was an aspiring sports reporter. Just 24, Jessica Gowie was quick with a laugh, and it was often contagious. This was her first big interview.
You're nailing it, I'm telling you.
I know, I'm doing such a great job.
Just before the shooting, Gowie tweeted from the theater, "Movie doesn't start for 20 minutes. It was the last message she would send." Her brother still can't believe it.
She had a passion for life, and it showed. It showed in everything she did.
While social media filled with heartbreaking notes from those who knew Gowie and retweets of her last blog post, in an almost unbelievable twist of fate, she recalled barely escaping a mall shooting in Toronto last month, writing, "After Saturday evening, I know I truly understand how blessed I am for each second I'm given." Just weeks later, another gunman would end her life. 17-year-old Tanner Kuhn survived the shooting, but will never forget what he saw.
And I tripped and slipped on some blood and landed on a lady. I shook the lady, told her, you know, we need to get up, you need to go, and there was no response.
As police withheld the identities of the fallen, frantic messages appeared on social media, searching for answers and the unthinkable. If anyone knows the whereabouts of Terrell Hardin, 20, let him know his Uncle B is desperately looking for him. Alex Sullivan, 27, his dad can't get a hold of him. Has anyone seen him? Meantime, on Facebook, Chris Raposa reassured his loved ones he was alive, posting these photos. A friend of Louis Duran sent us this picture. He's 18 years old, just graduated high school, and was thrilled to see the Dark Knight premiere, a movie ticket that changed so many lives. Late today, Ann Curry spoke with Jamie Roars, who was in the theater with his family.
I just remember seeing his head looking up at me, seeing his little eyes, and just crying there. Just being so, frustrated about what to do.
Kristen Dahlgren, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Ann Curry is here with us, and we saw you talking to two of those people. What more can you tell us?
I can also tell you that Patricia, the last two people in the story that we just talked about, you just saw, was hit with shrapnel in her leg. But can you imagine trying to face this trauma with two small children? Well, Jamie and Patricia, you just saw, talked about, being so stunned. All they could think about was trying to save the children. Essentially, they carved them with their bodies. They threw them on the ground, and when they heard the shooting slow, they ran to save their children. And interestingly enough, Jamie and Patricia are boyfriend and girlfriend, both 25. It is today, Brian, when Jamie realized what could have been lost, how valuable, how important, how fragile life is. It is today that he asked Patricia to marry him in the hospital. And it's today that she said, knowing what she could have lost, she said yes.
Another side of this coin. We don't want to judge anyone or anything after this tragedy, but a whole lot of parents woke up this morning across this country and said, what were young kids doing at that movie, at that hour, in that theater?
I think the answer to that is really something that we all really know the answer to, and that is that, parents, especially young parents, need a break like everyone else. And so they were going because they heard so much about this movie, and everyone was so excited to see it. And it was just an opportunity for them to be together, to have a family moment. The 4-year-old that you just saw in the story was sleeping, actually, and the baby was being held asleep. And so for the parents, it was just an opportunity to be together.
All right, special hour of Dateline coming up. Ann Curry here with us, part of our team covering this. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the shockwaves from this across the country today.